This watch from Citizen has a few design cues taken from the Omega Aquaterra, but the watch I think it is more similar to, especially in price, is from Casio and their Edifice line. This watch has been taken YouTube by storm recently, and it showed in the price. About $75 normally, but I have been seeing it north of $100 now on Amazon, on eBay. So, is it worth spending that money on the Casio Edifice, or should you be spending less? This is $58 right now on Amazon, and get this offering from Citizen instead. Well, I decided to go ahead and order both so we could do a side-by-side comparison together. And if you haven't seen this Casio Edifice in person, I think you will agree there are more than a few, if we can get in focus, resemblances between these two beauties. So let's get this unfoamed and unstickered and check out this Casio Edifice versus this Citizen. So I think you see what I mean when I call these watches similar. Similar arrow, hour hands, applied indices, beautiful blue dials, quartz movement, 100 meters of water resistance, date complication, and both from a brand we know and trust. Citizen and Casio, some of the strongest brand history. Also, they both start with the letter C. But there are some differences as well. Even though this might look a little bit bigger, this Citizen has a wider dial. So this is a 42 millimeter diameter dial, 50 meters lug to lug, just about 10 millimeters thick, an unsigned push-pull crown, and 20 millimeter lug width. The Casio, as mentioned, possibly looking a little bit bigger. However, this is a 40 millimeter watch. The lug to lug also is shorter, just about 47, 48 millimeters lug to lug. It has a screw down sign crown, another little bit of difference, but it is a little bit thicker, just over 11 millimeters thick. Also, though, similar to the Citizen, a 20 millimeter lug width. Also, if we're stating the obvious, the Citizen coming on this resin strap and this Casio coming with this three-link presenting oyster style bracelet, but this is also a budget watch, so each one of these 3 links is actually just one link, all connected, push pins to size this bracelet. However, keep that in mind, high polish center, brushed outer links. So obvious differences. Well, let's start with the bezel. This watch from Citizen has a fixed bezel. It's brushed and it has minute markers, second markers, whatever you want to call it, around the outside. No, it does not rotate. Yes, that is a bummer. Casio Edifice decided to go ahead and just include no such fixed bezel. I mean, technically this bezel is fixed, but there's no numbers on it, so we wouldn't even begin to suspect that you could rotate it. High polish as well. This definitely is like a sporty dress watch. This on the left from Citizen is basically just a sport watch. So the first major difference I will say is this Casio Edifice, again, I'm gonna get so confused. Casio Citizen, back and forth. Let's see if I can keep it clear the entire time. So this Casio Edifice, I believe, I mean, you can take this and wear this way more places than the Citizen. This is going to look way more in place in the office or the beach versus the Citizen, probably just going to be the beach for you. Let's look at the case designs as well, because there are some differences here too. While they both have brushed top, high polished kind of chamfered edge, and then brushed again, the Casio Edifice, I think, way more elegant in its design. The kind of complete curve that never stops, never gets broken up, downturn of the lugs, where the Citizen more looks like the lug was attached into the case. It has that hard line there versus just the long, elegant sloping from the Casio. This has been compared to a Seiko Sarb, and I agree. This has a very, very similar case shape to a Seiko Sarb, and also does feel better finished than this Citizen. I do like the finishing on the Citizen, however, with the addition of this high polished bezel from the Casio Edifice, this just pops more for sure. So let's investigate these dials a little bit closer. While they are both blue, the Casio Edifice on the right is basically just a single blue, no sunburst effect. Although, as I'm saying there's no sunburst, it's almost like a liquid blue, like a high quality car paint, like an aftermarket car paint. So there is no kind of catching of the light, but as you hopefully can see on the video, there is still some color discrepancy or color change. Again, liquid blue is really the only way I can describe this, like a high gloss blue. On the other hand, with this Citizen, it's not necessarily a sunburst, although as you move it around, you do see the light play on this dark blue dial. So it's the inky blues that are broken up by these rays of lighter blues. It feels to me like what it would look like if you were down deep in the ocean, I don't know, around 100 meters, and some light kind of comes through, piercing the dark ocean. That's what I get from the Citizen. Over here on the Casio, I don't get ocean vibes, but I do get a very beautiful blue. They both have a date complication as well, although I would call this much bigger on the Casio Edifice. Also unframed, where this Citizen watch has a framed date complication. Throwing in a personal opinion though, I don't really like the circular date frame. I don't think it matches with all the sharp angles of this watch. A square or rectangular frame I think would do much better than the circle. It kind of reminds me of a Magic 8 Ball or something, and not in a great way. Other than that, I mean, it really does come down to personal preference, although there is one last thing to consider, and that is the price. I got this Citizen for $60, $58 if we're being specific, and I actually spent more money than list on this Casio. So the Casio Edifice is listed for $89. I actually, though, spent $99 on Amazon to get this watch. So the popularity tax in full effect. When more people want it, Amazon recognizes it and jacks the price up. I've heard other reviewers, Jody from Just One More Watch to be specific, say that you shouldn't really be spending more than $75 on this watch. That's where he thinks the good price point is. I honestly don't know if I agree. I'm not upset that I bought this watch for $99. The quality really does feel to be there so far. Although, you just know you're buying over list, and that doesn't necessarily feel good. This Citizen, on the other hand, I spent $60, like I've been saying, $58. To be honest, it feels like I'm getting a deal, but not a big deal. Like, I definitely would not spend $100 on the Citizen, whereas I'm not really upset that I spent $100 on the Casio Edifice. So, as far as quality, I mean, you're going to get great quality wherever you go, whether it's Citizen or Casio. You're going to get reliability. You're going to get brand heritage. You're going to feel good wearing it on your wrist. I just think that this Casio Edifice, in a head-to-head, just takes it. This is, again, a pure sports watch, beater watch, go to the beach. This is a multi-purpose watch. Also, we should check out a lume shot on these guys. They do look very similar, lumed hands, lumed indices. Pretty good lume on both. I will say that on the left, this is the Citizen on the left, everything looks evenly lumed. The indices and the hands all seem to be glowing pretty well together. On the right, the Casio Edifice, the hands are glowing brighter than anything on frame. However, the indices are fading rather quickly. So if you are looking at both of these watches and you're trying to decide which one to get, my advice is just think about what you're going to be doing while you wear it. If you want a great watch that you don't care about scratching, that can really go anywhere and do anything, I would be leaning towards the Citizen. You also won't feel as bad if you scratch it up, and all this brushing kind of encourages that kind of tool watch use. If you need a more well-rounded watch and you don't have the budget to buy multiple watches and you're looking maybe just to get one great affordable watch, I'm going to point you to the Casio Edifice. I really do think this can be a go anywhere, do anything watch with some reminiscence of the Seiko SAR, but with some added sportiness like the Arrow Hour Hand. It's very hard to say Arrow Hour Hand. Also, by the way, another similarity, they both have a little bit of a splash of color, with the second hand kind of red with the Casio, orange with the Citizen. Citizen obviously went a step further and matched the minute hand as well. So let's end with a wrist shot of both. And we'll make sure to do a side-by-side as well. So on my 7 1/4 inch wrist, here you go. This is the Citizen with that long model number that will be in the description. Fits great on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. Very comfortable. This resin strap way better than the Casio Duro's resin band, way better than the Seiko SKX resin band, very comfortable, and I like the blue. And in some ways, the Casio Edifice kind of wears, if not bigger, then just very similar. This is 40 millimeters on the right with the Casio Edifice versus the 42 of the Citizen. However, that larger dial of the Casio really kind of gives it some more wrist presence. And I think, it's hard to say because I'm not seeing it side by side, but let's do that. So there you go. So you can see in many ways the dial, it being bigger with the Casio, it kind of could feel bigger, although when I see them side by side, that bezel on the Citizen kind of makes up for it. But here you go, the side-by-side comparison of the Casio and the Citizen. If I had to pick one to keep in my collection personally, it would be the Casio Edifice, even though it is about $40 more. However, I would love to hear your opinion in the comments. New videos every week on this channel. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you soon.